So, hey guys, my name is Lakshay and I'm a analyst at Scalar Academy. So, I guess we have nine people waiting here. So, let's wait for around 30 seconds or 1 minute more so that more people can join and then we can start off with the session. Before that, I want to know from you guys, am I audible to you? Can you please write in the chat below, am I audible or not? Okay, okay, fine. I see that I am audible. So let's wait for 30 seconds more and then we'll start off with the session now. So, guys, let me quickly tell you about something about coding. You guys must have heard about learning basics of coding everywhere, here and there in your lifetime. So, you guys want to know more about how to learn coding or how you want to start off with the coding, how your life can be after you learn coding, all that stuff. So, I'm here to explain you everything about all that, and I'm going to tell you how you can proceed with coding and how to learn basics, then what you can do after that, and what about the jobs and all everything. So I'm going to tell you everything about coding in this session. So stay tuned till the end of the session, and you after the session I will also answer the questions that you guys have to ask from me. Okay, so I think people are here, so let me start off with the session. I'll quickly share my screen. Just let me know whether you guys can see my screen or not. So you guys, can you guys see my screen? Okay. So let's start off how to learn coding. So let's see our agenda today. First of all, what we are going to learn in this session. So first of all, why learn coding? So anyone, any person, if he is into coding, he wants to learn coding, or why he want to learn coding. He wants to know why learn coding and how can he proceed with that. After that, we are going to see how to start coding. Once you decide why you want to learn, we'll see how to start coding actually. After that, you know you have to start coding, then you also have to select which language you have to start with. That is also a point. And after that, we'll move on to how to choose a project. Like after you learn a basic language, you always have to do a project in order to understand everything about the language, right? So that's where I'm going to tell you how you can choose your project and how you can do that. After that, the learning path. After why you want to learn, after the language, you have chosen a path. After that, what you can learn further after that, and choosing coding as your career, how you can proceed with that. After that, jobs to expect. We are going to talk about what jobs you can come across while learning coding. Okay, so let's start off with the first topic: why learn coding. So first of all, let's suppose there's a person who want to earn more money in the IT industry, or he has graduated from college and he want a great salary package. So that's where coding comes in the picture, and you have to learn coding to get to the more packages. And as the industry stands right now, we always have coding as a premium job, and you can always get a lot of salary after learning coding. After that, there's another person who is interested in coding. He is just interested in coding. He wants to know about all languages, or some of the languages. He want to learn coding just for his purpose. He enjoys doing coding. So that's we have the third person. The third person we have is to increase their business. Let's say a person is already working in a company and he has a project under him, and he wants to increase its revenue, his company's revenue. And how he can do that? By learning coding. So that's where increasing business comes in. So these are the three scenarios why you have to learn coding, or you have to decide where you have to learn coding and how. So I want to ask you guys if you can put them in the comment section, like what is your reason to learn coding, or your reason to come here and know more about coding and how you want to proceed it. So these are the three types that I know. If you guys have any other suggestions besides this, you can put them in the comment. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. How to start coding actually. Once you have decided that you are actually interested in coding, or you want to increase your business, or you want to just get a salary package, so after that, how do you start a coding? So after this, what you want to do, the first thing, what you want to do with the coding after you learn coding, what opportunities does it create for you? You want to know that, you want to do research on it. Do you want to create web applications, or you want to create web servers, or normal applications, or Android, iOS applications? That's where you want to know that, okay, I want to learn coding, and I want to become a web developer. So that's how you want to start your coding process. The second step we have is the languages and tools you need for this. So what language is needed to finish the task that you want to do? The task being, if for example, I want to become a web developer, and I want to learn a language that is suitable for websites. That is, it can be Node.js, it can be JavaScript, it can be anything. So I want to learn the language to become that developer. So that's how you should proceed, and that's the second step. After that, the third step we have is learn that language. So learning the language is required, and keep learning languages like that. You always have to learn languages similar to what you want to do. So you always cope up with the industry standards, and you always know. Okay. So after this, the fourth step and the final step we have is, you have to create a basic project on that. Once you understand, you learn the language, you always have to create a project. So that's where start you have to start with creating a project on real time scenarios, to get a better understanding of the coding itself. So that's why you should all that's how you should all start coding. Now, before I move on to the next part, I want to see your questions. If you guys have any questions regarding until here, I want to clarify that, so that we can move on further. So let me see the chat section, and I can answer you guys. And guys, this session will also be available after the live session is over. You can go to our YouTube channel, and you can see the session. And uh, what okay, so for the roadmap, I am here to tell you about the roadmap and how you can proceed with the coding here itself. And um, could you please also tell what are the job roles? I'm going to tell later on in the stage, when at the end of the uh, video, I'm going to tell what job roles you can apply for, and what is the industry right now, and how it is. So okay, so I guess we have these many questions here. So you guys can keep on giving me questions, and I will be replying to them continuously. So feel free to comment, and free feel to ask any questions that you guys want, and I will tell. So next, starting off with the next topic, the first thing we have, what you want to do. So I have four scenarios, the four job openings that we have. The first one is gaming. If you want to develop games, you can go for the gaming sector, or else you have mobile applications where you can learn different types of languages like iOS, Android, any OS that operate on mobiles. You can learn that. After that, you can always go for web. That is the most famous that we have in the current IT sector. We have web developers. You can go into web development, or finally you can also go into data science if you want to learn coding. So for example, you want to go into gaming, you want to learn Maya, or you want to learn Python, Java, you want to create games inside that, you can learn Java for it. For mobile applications, similarly Java we have, Python, or even we have React. for creating mobile applications. After that, you can also go opt for web applications or websites, or you can even secure your websites. You always use Apache, or you want to use JavaScript, Node.js, React. All languages are available there. Now, the interesting part is if you want to learn data science. Now, many people have questions regarding data science. That do we have to code in data science? My answer to that is yes, you have to learn it. And the most famous languages that we have for data science are Python and R. You always have to learn these two languages in order to proceed with data science, because it always works with functions, and it always works with the codes that we have in data science, and that's how you proceed with it. Okay. Now, after this, I hope you guys can understand what you want to do after learning coding and what you decide to do. Now, after you decide in which sector you want to go, now you want to know what languages and tools are needed. Now, to give you a better understanding, for example, I want to be a web developer. What languages I need to understand to become a good web developer? So these are the basic languages that are there in web development. The basic being HTML. You guys always must have heard about HTML in your life. That HTML is a language, and it's very easy, and it's a very basic language. After that, it is Python and PHP. You have JavaScript, and even SQL is required in creating websites, because you have to store data inside it as well. Because right, so if you want to get admin access, or you want to you want people to log in into your website, or they have login IDs and passwords, for that you need SQL as well. So that's how you should start knowing which language you want to learn for what reason. So that's how you do the languages, and you want to understand that which language I want to learn. After you learn the language, you have to learn the basics of it. Now, these four things that I have, these are always available in every coding language. The four things being, the first, we have loops. Every coding language have loops inside it, and you have to understand how loops work, how you start with the loop and how you end the loops. After that, we have if statements. Now, if statements are easy to understand, and it is easy to execute as well, but you have to get the basics right. If statements, how they work, and or scenarios, all that comes under if statements. After that, we have variables. Now, how to declare variables, how to call them, and how to use them. Everything goes into variables. Now, you always must understand what variables are. It can be private, public, protected. You all have to know everything, and even the functions as well. The final thing, that's function and arrays. Now, every coding language have functions and arrays inside it, and these are the basics of coding. And once you learn how functions work, how arrays work, how variables work, you will be ready to learn more about that coding language. So always start with these four things about every language. It can be any language. It can be C++, Python, JavaScript. It can be R, React, Node.js. Every language starts with these four basic things, and you must always know about these things. Now, one more thing I want to tell you guys is, if you know that language and you have learned it, and even you have worked in it, I have seen people who go for the interviews and they are not aware of the basics. And once the interviewer asks them about the basics, they always tend to tilt, because they forget it, or they do not practice it anymore. So you always must have your basics right, and that is very important. Okay. Now, after that you learn basics, you have to choose how do you create a project. Now, for example, I want to become a web application developer. Or I'll take a different example. I want to become an app developer, and I want to work on Android. So for that, I want to use Java, right? So I have to select a project that can be simple or complicated, depending on what you guys want to do. If you are very confident in Java, you can go for complicated projects. Or if you guys are not that much confident in Java, but you want to learn more about it, then go for simple. So, what my personal opinion is, you should always work with simple, basic projects, and that is very important for the guys who are confident in Java, but It can be any language. I'm taking an example of Java because if I want to be an app developer, Android app developer, then Java is required. And if I'm very, even if I'm very good in Java, even then also I want a simple project because I can show it to the interviewers and I can tell my skill sets that I have done this. And after you have done a project, it is easy for you guys to land a job in coding. So that's what the basics of how to start a coding. Now after that we also have tools. Now if you guys are having any trouble doing coding part and you guys want to learn more about that, or suppose if I am developing an app and I am getting certain error, so first option you guys have is you can google that error. And there are a lot of people who must be having the same problems, and they must be asking and someone must be answering that. So you can always google your you can always google your errors and for the debugging. Now debugging is basically correcting your errors and finding out where the error is. So for debugging, either you can google. We also have stack overflow, and that is basically like Quora or a basic question answer websites where people usually ask only about coding. So if you guys want to know more about it, and you guys are having a lot of error, so you guys can always put that error in stack overflow and you will get your answers. Now even if you don't get that, and or if you guys feel that it is not working out, then there's a third option that we are always there to help you. You can always uh, ask any questions on our videos, or uh, simply on our community. You can ask anywhere and we will be ready to help you guys, and we will be more than happy to help people who are having trouble and who are getting errors. So we can always uh, tell you guys like which error is where and how it is. Okay. Now after debugging, we have IDEs. Now these are the places where you actually code. Okay, so the first can be, it can be IntelliJ, it can be NetBeans, Eclipse, it can be VMware, VM tools, it can be anything. So you guys have to understand on which tool which code runs. Now for example, Java runs on Eclipse and IntelliJ both. Even Python runs on IntelliJ. So that's where IDEs come into picture. These are just a tool that you install in your computer, install in your laptop or PC. You can install on it and you can start writing code inside it. And these are the different platforms that you can use, like how you use platforms to watch videos. Similarly, these are the platforms how you code. And I personally prefer to go with IntelliJ or Eclipse. I really like it. So that is one part. And you guys must also search for the IDEs that you want to code. Okay. So now moving on, I want to ask if you guys have any questions until now, then I can move on to the next part. Okay, so even if you are non-technical branch, I have a lot of questions like even if they are from non-technical, can they even code? So my answer to that is yes, you guys can code, and you just have to start with the basics, like how I told, learn the basics first: syntax, semantics, loops, variables, functions. You have to learn all that, and that's how you proceed with the language. Okay, so even if you are from a non-technical background, don't worry, you can always start with the coding as well. So okay, any other questions? Okay, how to master the basics in any language. Okay, so like how I told you, there are many websites who teach languages, but my personal opinion to you guys is you can go to any website, but you always must learn about syntax and semantics first. Like for example, if I take C++, you always have in C++, you always have C out, C in, while in C you have printf and print. So that's how you can go there. So we also have websites that you can go. There's a interview bit website. We have our website interview bit. You can always ask your questions there. And you can even ask, and it can be any question, any silly question, or it can be any advanced question. We are always there to help you. And similarly, okay. So moving on to the next topic. How do you choose a project? So similar thing that I told you before, complicated, or it can be a simple project. But here I am giving uh, web development. Here I am giving domain and languages, like which domain you have to go into, and for that you have to learn which languages. Now this is a very clear picture for you guys now, that which language you want to learn. Now until now I was not telling which language you have to learn on what platform. So now is your answer, guys, if you are asking that. So if you guys want to become a web developer, or you want to go into web development, you can always learn JavaScript, HTML. You can learn CSS, Node.js, PHP, Django. You can learn these languages for web development. Now depending on the industry standards, you have to research on the language, that which language is most used in most of the companies, and which has higher job percentage. You have to learn that language according to that. Similarly, if you want to become an Android developer, there's Java, there's Kotlin as well. Now if you want to go into iOS development, we have only Swift. Now if you want to go into data science, which I told before, you have to learn Python, you have to learn R, or it can be MATLAB as well. So but now, as I know, in the data science, there is Python and R are the most used coding languages, and you can always use that. Now after that, if you want to become a software developer, now that is also a job role that you want to go into. So in software developer, you have to learn Java, C sharp, or Python. Now these all three are equally divided. You can learn any one language in them, between them, or if you can learn more than one language, you can learn two language, three languages. That is always beneficial for you, because your domain extends. So okay, so that's how you can go. And if you want to go into gaming development, there comes C++ and C sharp. So C sharp is mainly for .NET frameworks. So that's how it always go in. So one more thing, guys, if you have any coding questions, like very frequently asked questions or FAQs, you want to search for it, Google it. So I would tell you guys that you can go to interviewbit.com, and we personally, me and my colleagues personally have done some coding questions to practice on over there. So if you guys want to create a project from there, you can always take questions from there as well. Okay. uh, After that, moving on to the next topic, the learning path. That is our final topic of today, the learning path. So we have two types of specializations basically. The first one being backend, and the second one being full stack. So for backend thing, you always have to design a system, or you can always do a project on system designing, or you can do on APIs, Spring Boots. You can make database indexes. You can you can also use multi-threading. So you must have specializations in on all the topic that are there on the left hand side, uh, that are written there. If you guys want, you can always take a screenshot, or you can always come back and see what I was talking about. And for on the right hand side, we have full stack specialization, that we have similarly the designing the system, but here we do building a server, and we do introduction to MVC. We have web architecture. You also have to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that I just now talked about. So these are the two specializations. Now you have to ask yourself a question, like which specialization you want. You want to become a full stack developer, or you want to become a backend developer. Now the probability of both of them to landing a job is equal. You can choose any one of them depending on the language, depending upon the project, or even if your interest as well. It can be anything. Okay. Now after that, after you have done the specialization part, like in which side you have to go, After that, you have to learn these three things. The first one being, you can learn any two of them or any one of them to advance your coding skills. If you want to go into normal coding and DSA, like data structures and everything, then you can go to matrix or k-tree or dynamic programming. You can go into network flow or anything. So that's how uh, data database data algorithm works. And if you want to go into concurrent programming, here we have Java, or we have Java exercises. You want to learn concurrent programming, parallel programming, synchronized asynchronous programming, everything comes under concurrent programming. And finally, the third thing that you guys also have to decide is product management. If you guys want to go into product management, so there you want to learn more about vision or measurement. You want to learn about roadmaps, how they're created. You want to learn prioritization, how to prioritize in your code. After that, you also want to learn product development, how you actually develop a product from level 1 to level 2. So that's how the learning path works. And that's where I end my session. Now you guys have to decide that which side you have to go, and how you want to invest your time into coding, and which side you want to go on. Now, having said that, I want to get into question and answer sessions. Now, if you guys want to ask any questions regarding this, you can ask me. I will be just answering right now for the next 10 minutes. Okay, people are asking what is IDE. So IDE means okay. If you guys want to know the full form of IDE, IDE is Integrated Development Environment. That is where you actually code. So if you guys want go and watch any videos how you code on Java, they are always using IDEs on Eclipse, or it can be NetBeams, or it can be anything. So that's what IDEs are. You actually code on that videos and all you see on coding, right, that are always on IDEs. There is no other platform to code. Okay, learning coding doesn't matter with the age. So even if you think you have age more than 25 or more than 30, it doesn't matter, because you already have experience in IT sector. So that also counts. So if you learn a new technology and you want to go into full stack developer, that is also feasible. And you just have to learn the code. You have to create projects and show them in front of the interviewer that you have done this. That's all. Uh, yes, I think 6 months. In 6 months, you can learn. Uh, I'm not gonna say advanced, but you can learn intermediate level of the coding in 6 months, so that you can crack your interviews and you can go into coding field. So I think that 6 months is enough if you code regularly and if you code uh, very nicely. So that's how it happens. Yes, Python will be the best language to start with right now, because many companies are using Python. As you guys just now saw that Python is used in web development, it is used in application development, and even data science. So that's where Python comes in, and you can code using Python. So yes, Python is the language. Blockchain development, I don't have any idea that which language you have to learn blockchain, because there are a lot of what do you say? There are a lot of languages that are used in blockchain right now, and I don't know which language is the best for it. So my guess is you can always Google it, that which language are going on right now, and which companies are using blockchain as of now. I this session is not about explaining the real code and how you can do that, but always you can put them in the comment. But this session is basically about the learning path, like how do you start with coding, the basics. Now, people who don't know much about coding, this session is mainly for them. But yes, we will be creating more languages like that, and we will be creating more sessions like that, so that you can always be up to date with the industry right now. So I guess that's it for the session. There are no other questions that I can see. Okay, so I hope you guys learned something in this session. Now, if you guys have any questions regarding this, put them in the comment section. After this session is over, you can always come back and see the video, and you have any questions regarding this, I will be answering to them personally. Okay, so let me end the session now. Thank you guys.